As someone that deeply cares about our elder kin in the forests, rivers, mountains, tundra, natural deserts, and oceans, I am compelled to take an honest look at why ecologically destructive behavior is being chosen by human beings. When greed-motivated selfish humans sought to clear-cut the ancient rainforest in the Fairy Creek watershed on Vancouver Island, and other ecologically literate courageous stood up to protect that extremely rare type of forest habitat, I asked myself, how is it still legal for us to clear-cut the last few ancient forests in Canada when there is so much second-growth forest to supply our wood needs? The answer I discovered after some research was unsettling. It was not just corporations like Teal Jones that were profiting from destroying these ancient forests. It was the BC government and federal government. Each tree chopped down is a paycheck for them via their stumpage fees, licensing fees, and other taxation-related rackets. The federal government of Canada claims it can make something illegal for ecological reasons, such as they did for laws against killing migratory birds. Yet, it only does so when that action does not cut into their big profit industries. The same government that has promised, for decades now, that they will stop cutting down the endangered old-growth primary, ancient forest, has continued to green-light it, profit from it, and send in paramilitary RCMP goons to remove anyone standing in the way of their pillaging. The people in government have changed over the years, and people were really excited to hear each of their campaign promises about stopping the destruction of the old-growth forests. But once in office, the clear-cutting of ancient forest continued unimpeded, and in fact facilitated and encouraged by those successive governments. The government continues to attempt to pillage the old-growth forests today, and forest defenders persist in their defense of the sacred. People that buy into the religion of statism tell me that I just need to vote harder, and that you cannot complain about how the industry does things if you are unwilling to vote, but voting has accomplished nothing to stop old-growth logging in the long history of the statist regime of Canada, so why should I expect that to suddenly change now? The same can be said of the ecologically devastating fracking and mining operations in Canada, encouraged, facilitated, and often enforced at gunpoint against the will of local people that are suffering due to those water-poisoning, forest-destroying, and polluting operations. The same is true of how the government in Canada has crippled ancient traditional regional food systems and instead imposed corporate GMO Big AG onto the landscape, poisoning the soil, water, air, and food supply. The military-industrial complex, here and abroad, is the same, continuing to inflict massive ecological harm locally and abroad, never slowing down due to changes in government people, but rather doing what that permanent industry has been doing since day one, profiting from destruction, death, and pillaging. As someone that strives to look at this world using the ethics of my ancestors and the permaculture design moral imperatives, I sought to comprehensively assess whether or not these patterns I describe above are intrinsic to modern governmental structures, or if there was some other factor I had not accounted for. The following are some of the realizations I came to and expressed in my essay titled, Why Involuntary Governance Structures Are Not Compatible with the Permaculture Ethical Compass. Firstly, what is involuntary governance? Any form of government that is imposed upon individuals using violent coercion without the consent of that individual. This applies whether one would describe that governance system as a fascist, communist, feudal dictatorship, or democracy. In its idealistic format, democracy involves using the threat of violence via armed agents of state which will come and harass, kidnap, and potentially kill you if you resist, to coerce the minority into capitulating to the will of the majority. Cultures that perceive themselves as the most important organism on the planet, being entitled to exploit as they see fit, and having no responsibility/need to reciprocate, seeing nature as a collection of dead/intimate resources and stupid animals, worth less than humans, take for greed without restraint and kill for pleasure and profit. Those cultures typically decrease biodiversity, poison the water, and decertify once lush ecosystems in their endless quest for more disposable superficial pleasures, comfort, opulence, and attempting to fill a void in their heart, where gratitude should be, with more material things. One can live regeneratively, or they can be devout statists and follow blindly as multi-generational racketeering operations continue to pillage the earth. Involuntary government, every last involuntary form of government that uses violent coercion, is the single most ecologically destructive force on the planet. Now that I have explained my own stance on the question posed for this month's poll, I want to know what all of you think. Perhaps I have not considered all the variables, and my understanding of these issues needs a lot of improvement. Perhaps statist regimes are not inherently ecologically degenerative, and I have yet to have considered all the facts. If you believe that to be the case, please let me know by voting in the poll below and then explaining your vote in the comments section. Are all involuntary governance structures inherently ecologically degenerative? Check the description section below this video for the full poll post and to vote and engage in the discussion on my blog.